Welcome, and let's get started. We will be making 4 squares. Each square will measure about 15 inches by 15 or 38 by 38 centimeters. Start with a slip knot. Chain 6. We will slip stitch to join in the first chain to make a circle. We can chain 3. This will count as your first double crochet. We will then put 15 double crochet in the circle. This will be number 14 and number 15. We will then slip stitch to join in the top of the chain 3. Round 1 will equal 16 double crochet. We can then chain 3, or we can try doing a starting double crochet. Pull up the loop about as long as a stitch. Yarn over that loop. We're then going to grab our yarn and go under the 2. Bring it forward and grab our yarn and go through the top 2. This is how I did my starting double crochet. There is another way of doing it though, which is better. So pulling up a loop as long as your stitch, yarning over, but actually go into the stitch that we're going to do. So going in, then grabbing the loop, pulling up, and finishing like a double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, go under both, and then yarn over, and go through the top 2. So this one looks more like a double crochet. So if I put in a double crochet beside it, you'll see. So during the project, I did the wrong one, but this is actually the correct one, or you can just do a chain 3. Let me show you one more time. Pulling up the loop as long as the stitch and keeping your finger on top of that loop to hold it secure. Yarning over, and now we're going to go into the stitch. Yarning over to grab the loop up, keeping that finger tight on the top, yarn over, pull through the 2, and yarn over and pulling through the top. Again, you can see if I put a double crochet beside, it looks exactly the same. So however you want to start your starting double crochet or a chain 3, whatever works best for you. So we will put another double crochet in that same stitch. You can see here we have 2 double crochet in that same stitch. We can then chain 1, and we will put 2 double crochet in the next stitch. And we're going to repeat this all the way around. So 2 double crochet in each stitch with a chain 1 in between. I have now worked all the way around. You can just see how my color has changed here with my yarn. So I have 2 more to do here in this stitch. And then chain 1. And then I will slip stitch to join in the top of that chain 3 or the top of the first double crochet. Round 2 will equal 32 double crochet. For the next round, we're going to slip stitch over to the chain space. So right in here, we're going to just slip stitch over because we're going to work into those chain spaces. So slip stitch over 1 and slip stitch over 2. So now we're in that chain 1 space. Now we will do a puff stitch. Pull your yarn up about the size of your stitch. Yarn over, insert into the space, and pull up nice and tall. Yarn over, and do a second time, and yarn over, and pull up and do a third time. We can then yarn over and pull through all the stitches, and then close the puff. Chain 1, and let's repeat. So for the second one, just yarn over, pull up 1, yarn over, pull up 2, yarn over, pull up 3, yarn over, pull through all, close the stitch with the chain, and chain 1. Let's do this in each chain 1 space. When you've come back around to the beginning, you finish with the chain 1, and then we will slip stitch into the top of the first puff stitch to join. Round 3 will equal 16 puff stitch. We will again slip stitch over 2 spaces. So slip stitch over 1 and slip stitch over into the chain 1 space. We can now do a chain 3 or a starting double crochet. We will then do a chain 1 and put another double crochet in that same chain space, and this will be a V-stitch. So working into the next one, we're going to chain 2 in between and then put a V-stitch into the next chain space. So we're going to double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. We will then chain 2 and repeat. Working a V-stitch, so double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then in between our V-stitch, we will chain 2. I will meet you back around at the beginning. Finishing with your chain 2, we will slip stitch to join in the top of the first stitch. Round 4 will equal 16 V-stitch. For our next row, chain 3 or starting double crochet. We can then double crochet in the same space. We will chain 1 and we're going to put 2 double crochet in the chain space. And then again, chain 1. So we're going to repeat this. So 2 double crochet will go into each chain space with a chain 1 in between. Two double crochet, chain 1, and repeat. It should look like this, with the 2 double crochet in each chain space. We will end with the chain 1, and then we will slip stitch to join in the top of the first stitch. Round 5 will be 64 double crochet. We will then do 2 slip stitch to go over to the chain 1 space. So slip stitch 1 and slip stitch 2. For our next round, let's start with the chain 3 or the double crochet. From here, we will chain 3. And then we're going to double crochet in the chain space. And we're going to repeat this. So let's do the chain 3. So repeating, we're going to double crochet in the chain space, chain 3, and repeat. So just working in those chain 1 spaces. It should look something like this. So continue all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end. We will finish with a chain 3, and then slip stitch to join in the top of that stitch or in the 3rd chain. Round 6 will be 32 double crochet. Let's start the next round with the chain 3 or your double crochet. We will then put 2 double crochet in each chain space and then 1 double crochet on the top of the double crochet from the round below. So 2 in the space and 1 in the stitch. Repeating this all the way around, 2 double crochet in each chain space, and 1 double crochet in the double crochet from the round below. Repeat this all the way around. We can then slip stitch to join in the top of the first stitch. Round 7 will equal 96 double crochet. For our next round, we're going to start with a single crochet in the first stitch. So single crochet right in that first stitch, and then we will chain 3. We're going to skip 2 stitches and then single crochet in the next. And we will repeat this. So chain 3 and then skip 2 and single crochet. Chain 3, skip 2 and single crochet. You will notice that your single crochet will go on top of the stitch of the round below. That's the double crochet. That part should line up. So continue all the way around. We will finish with a chain 3, and then we're going to slip stitch to join in the top of that first single crochet. So this should have been in the single crochet, which was the stitch before, but it still worked out. Round 8 should look something like this. We will then slip stitch over to the chain space. We will then start with a chain 3 or the starting double crochet. We can then put 2 more double crochet in that same space. Then we will chain 2. We will put 3 double crochet in the next space. Chain 2 and repeat all the way around. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, and repeat. So you'll have 3, chain 2, 3, chain 2, and continue all the way around. Finish with the chain 2 and slip stitch to join in the top of that first stitch. Round 9 will equal 96 double crochet. We're going to do 2 slip stitch over. 1 and 2. And now we will single crochet in the chain space. We will then chain 4 and repeat. So single crochet in the chain space, chain 4, and repeat. Let's do this all the way around. You will end with a chain 4, and we will slip stitch to join in the top of that first single crochet. Round 10 will have 32 spaces. We are now going to divide this into 4. So place 4 stitch markers 8 spaces apart. So place one in the very first space that we have, and then you're going to do 8 over. So from here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then go another 8 to place one, and then another 8 to place a marker, and then back around. We will remove the first marker and slip stitch over to that chain space. We will now chain 1 and then do a starting double crochet, or you can just chain 4. This will count as a treble crochet. We're now going to do one more treble crochet. So let's yarn over 2 times, insert, drop a loop, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2 again. That will be your treble crochet. So now you have 2 treble crochet. We will chain 2 and do 2 more treble crochet in that same space. So chain 2 and 2 treble crochet. So yarning over 2 times, yarn over 2 times. So we're going to go 1, 2 times, going into that space, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and 1 more. This is going to be our first corner as we start making our circle into a square. In the next space, we're going to put 4 double crochet. We're then going to put 4 half double crochet in the next space. We will then do 4 single crochet in each of the next 3 spaces. So there's 4 single crochet in this space. Four in the next space. And then 4 more. So this is the start of our circle turning to a square, and now we will work up. So we will do 4 half double crochet. Then 4 double crochet, and then we will have reached the corner. You can remove the stitch marker, and in the corner we will do 2 treble crochet, chain 2, 2 treble crochet. This is how the side should look. So from each corner, turning the circle into a square. Let's do one more side together, starting with our 4 double crochet. For half double crochet, then 4 single crochet in each of the next 3 spaces, for half double crochet, for double crochet, and then working the corner. So remove the marker, 2 treble crochet, chain 2, 2 treble crochet. You can now repeat this for 2 more sides, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. Once we have reached back to the beginning, we can slip stitch to join in the top of that first stitch. Your square should now look something like this. For the next round, let's chain 3 or do a starting double crochet. We're then going to double crochet into the next stitch. For our corner, we will do 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So we now want to work one stitch in every stitch from the round below. So moving on, we're going to do 2 more double crochet. So we're going to start right in that first stitch there, the treble from the round below. So putting 1 double crochet in there, and then another double crochet. So putting 1 on the top of each stitch. So now 4 more double crochet. So this will be 6 double crochet. So this is 2, 3, and 4. So working into the stitch, we're going to continue. So now we will do 4 half double crochet. So the half double crochet stitch is right the next one right there. So remember, we want to make sure we have 1 stitch on top of each stitch from the round below. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Moving on, now we will put 12 single crochet. So starting in the very first one, which is right here. So 12 single crochet. Moving on to the rest of the row, we will do 4 half double crochet. Again, starting in the first stitch there too, or the next stitch. This is 3 and 4. And now we will do 6 double crochet to the corner. So putting it in the first 4, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next 2 are in the treble crochet from the round below. So that's what makes up the 6. So this one here is 5 and 6. And then again, working into the corner, we're going to put 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. And this is how the side should look. So from corner to corner, we now have a square. So let's do the next side together. Make sure you work in that very first stitch. We'll do 6 double crochet. Then 4 half double crochet. "12 single crochet. 4 half double crochet, six double crochet, and then work the corner. So there we have 2 sides. Continue for 2 more, and I will meet you back here. So slip stitch to join on the top of that first stitch. So we did start with the 2 double crochet and then the corner, so you're just ending at that point. This is what it should look like now. For our next row, we'll do a starting double crochet or a chain 3. We will then put 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to work our corner. Our corners will all be the same, doing 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. We're then going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch, with our corner being 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and we're going to repeat this then for 3 rows. So this one here is our first row like this, and then we're going to do 2 more rows like this for a total of 3 rows. This is what it looks like after 1, and this is what it looks like after 2, and this is where you should be after 3. So again, slip stitch to join, and then we can cut our yarn and pull through. With your darning needle, weave in each end. And now you just have to make 3 more squares. You want 4 squares in total. So we're just going to lay out our squares, and you want to determine which is going to be your front and back. So this one here I'm going to make as the back, and this one here is the front. So I'm just turning it over to see how we're going to attach it. So this will be my front square here. And then the other squares will be attached to both, so kind of like the sleeve or the shoulder part. So folding it in half, I'm going to attach one onto one side, and then the other one will be attached to the other side. To weave the squares together, I will be starting here, going up to the neck and down. And then I will repeat this for the other side. So I'm just going to remove the back piece right now, just so it's not confusing. So I will just do the front portion. So just removing that part, and this will be my other sleeve here. Just going to open it up, and that's how we will join it, going up and down. Start with a slip knot, and we're going to slip stitch our pieces together. Keeping your yarn in front of you, we're going to start in that chain in the corner stitch. So in the very corner we have 2 chains. So we're going to start on the one chain that's closest to the square that we're attaching. So let's start on the far side first, and we're going to insert our hook. So into the chain space right here, keeping your yarn underneath and forward, and then insert into the chain on the other square. We will then grab our yarn and slip stitch through both of those chains and our starting loop. Let's do another one. So going into the next chain, just on the outside portion, and then into the one closest to you, yarning over and slipping through all 3. The first few can be a little tricky, but just be patient and you'll see how great this will work out. So just pulling it through. So into one side, into the next side, and slip stitch through. Into one, and slip stitch. I like how this gives a nice flat finish. So continue up and I will meet you at the corner. We will now work around the corner. So I'm just turning my work around to make it easier to stitch. So now adding on to this next portion. So we finished in this one chain, again, starting in that chain stitch. So not in the stitch, but in the chain, so right there in that chain. We'll do the same thing. So start on the one side, just on the outside, and then on our next stitch, and then yarning over and pulling through for the slip stitch. So we're just kind of going around the corner. So lining up both sides, just going in those outside stitches, we go from one side to the other and joining through. I like how my colors have gone from the beige to the brown and using just the blue so you can see my stitches quite nicely. And that's how your corner should look. So I'll meet you down at the bottom. We started at the bottom, worked around the neck, and ended back at the bottom. On this side, we can cut our yarn and pull through. I have now turned the work. So this is the inside of the poncho. So this is how the shoulders are going to attach. So I will now put our back square in place. And we're going to stitch this together the same way. So starting at the bottom, working up to the neck and coming down. So this is the neck part here. Then we will work down the side. So we've come from the neck all the way down to the side here. And do not cut the yarn. This is where we're going to start to put the edging on the poncho. To start the edging, we're going to put a single crochet in each stitch. So let's just start with a chain one and put our first single crochet into the end stitch here. And then we're going to put one single crochet into the space. So that's the corner space. Now we will put one single crochet into each stitch. I will meet you at the bottom of this square for the corner. Once you have reached the corner, we will put 3 single crochet into that chain space. And then continue along, putting 1 single crochet in each stitch. And I will meet you where the next square joins. At the join, let's just put 1 single crochet into that chain space. And then here at the join, we're going to put these 2 stitches together. So we're going to just go into the first one, pull up a loop, go into the second one, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. This is a single crochet 2 together. So continuing on, we'll start 1 in the chain space, and then 1 in each stitch. So continuing with the single crochet, 1 in each stitch, and I'll meet you at the next seam. So doing the same thing, putting a single crochet into the chain space, putting 2 together, so going into 1, going into the next one, and finishing that single crochet, and then going into the chain space, and then putting 1 single crochet in each stitch. So it just pulls the seam together. And continuing on, I will meet you at the corner. At the corner, we will put 3 single crochet. Continue on until we have reached to the beginning. We can then slip stitch to join in the top of that first chain that we made. So right in here, let's do a slip stitch. We're then just going to slip stitch over 1 stitch just into here. So that's kind of starting on that very first chain of that corner. And from here, we're either going to chain 5 or do a starting double crochet chain 2. So here's my starting double crochet chain 2, or just do chain 5. We're then going to skip 2 stitches and do a double crochet in the next. So we're going to repeat this. So let's do the chain 2. So we will skip 2, double crochet, and chain 2. Skip 2, double crochet, chain 2. I will meet you at the corner. This is what it should look like so far. So having your double crochet chain 2 until you have reached our point or our first corner. So we're still going to do the chain 2, but now we're going to put a double crochet in the first single crochet that's in that corner from the round below. So finding our 3 stitches in the corner. So here are our 3 single crochet. And we're going to put it in the first single crochet that's in the corner. So this one here is the corner. So it's still a skip 2 that I've got my finger on, and this is the first single crochet. So we're going to put 1 in there. And now we're going to just go right into the corner stitch. So into the middle of the single crochet from below, right in there. So do not chain. We're going to do a double crochet, chain 3, and then a double crochet all into that middle stitch, or the center stitch of that 3 single crochet from the round below. Then do not chain, and we're going to put 1 more double crochet in that other single crochet from the round below. So this is how your corner should look. If your double crochet didn't come out exactly like mine, don't worry too much about it. Make sure though that your corner stitch looks like this, so that you have a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet in the corner. Moving on, now we can do the chain 2, skip 2, and a double crochet. So chain 2, skip 2, double crochet, and repeat. And this should take you all the way to the other corner or the back of the poncho. So moving all the way, and I will meet you at the next corner, which is way at the other end over here. So I've worked my last double crochet into the first single crochet from the round below, just like my other corner here. And then I'm going to do the corner stitch into the middle of the single crochet. So I will do the double crochet, chain 3, double crochet in that center stitch, and then I'll put a double crochet right next to it. And then I will continue on with the pattern. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet, and repeat. We'll meet you back around to where we started. After you've come back around, we will chain 2. Okay, oops. No, we need to chain 2. And then we can slip stitch to join in the top of that stitch or the third chain. So that's how your row should look all the way around. Don't worry if you've got one extra stitch or one too many stitches. All the spaces should work out in the end. We will now just slip stitch over to the chain space. From here, we're going to do our starting double crochet or a chain 3. And then we're going to do a chain 2 and a double crochet in the same space. So working into the next one, we will double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. So this is like a V-stitch inside of each space. Double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet into each space. When you have reached the corner, we're going to put a V-stitch in between those 2 double crochets from the round below. So let's just put a V-stitch in here with the chain 2 double crochet. And then in our center, right here, we will put 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. We can then continue with our V-stitch. So that's how the corner should look. So let's put our first V-stitch after we've come around the corner in between those 2 double crochet from the round below. So double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And now we can just continue on putting them in each space. Let's continue around and I will meet you at the beginning. So we can slip stitch to join and the top of that chain 3 or the top of the stitch. Let's do a starting double crochet or a chain 3. We're then going to put 2 double crochet in each chain space and 1 double crochet into the top of each double crochet from the round below. So 2 double crochet in the space, and then put 1 double crochet and another double crochet in each stitch. And this will be our last row, and we're going to continue this all the way around, but I will meet you at the corner. When you have reached the corner, again we're going to put 1 double crochet in the one stitch. We'll put 1 in the next, and again 1 in the next. So continuing on with putting 1 double crochet in the top of each stitch. So working in the corner though, we will put 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Continue on now with putting 1 double crochet into each stitch and 2 into each space. We will see you back around at the beginning. When you've reached back around to the beginning, you could just slip stitch into that top stitch, cut your yarn, and pull through. We will now finish doing a stitch along the neckline. So let's start in that first double crochet from the round below. So starting in there with our new yarn, let's pull up a loop, chain 1, and single crochet in the same stitch. We will then chain 2, skip 2, and single crochet. Again, chain 2, skip 2, and single crochet. I will meet you around the other side of the V of the neck. Once you've reached the other side, you will have your single crochet, and we're just going to put 2 single crochet into the V of that neck. So 2 single crochet right into there. We can then do a single crochet into the first double crochet on the other side, and then continue our pattern with chain 2, skip 2, and single crochet. This is just creating loops for us to do our final row in. When you have reached back around to the beginning, we will do the same thing. We're going to put 2 single crochet into the V of the neck, and then we will slip stitch to join in the top of that first stitch. So slip stitch right into there. We now have one more row to do. We will do a single crochet in the single crochet from the round below. We will then do our picot in the chain spaces. So starting our picot, we're going to do a single crochet, chain 3. We're going to slip stitch in the back loop of that first chain, so that little bump there of the chain 3. If you turn it, you can see right there the bump. So we will do a slip stitch into there. and then single crochet back down into the space. So that is our picot. We will then put a single crochet on top of the single crochet from the round below, and then do a picot. So single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch into the bump, and single crochet to finish the picot. We now have 2. Continuing on, always doing a single crochet in the single crochet from the round below, and then our picot. Single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch into the back bump, and single crochet back down into the space to finish the picot. I will meet you down at the other side of the neck. I have put a single crochet on top of the last single crochet from the round below, and now we're going to put 1 single crochet in each of the 2 that are in the neck, and then 1 single crochet on top of the single crochet from below, so there will be 4 of them in there. And then do your picot in your chain space. So in the chain space, do your single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch, and single crochet back down, and then making sure you do your single crochet into the single crochet from the round below. We'll see you back at the beginning. We just finished our last picot and putting a single crochet on top of the one below, and then 1 in each of the corners, so 1 and 1, and back around to the beginning where we will do a slip stitch to finish. We can now cut the yarn and pull through. If you'd like, we could actually join this with an invisible stitch, and I can show you how. So what we will do is we'll actually take out the join. So take the last slip stitch to join the end out, and let's close with an invisible stitch. So from here, we're going to cut the yarn, and we're going to pull through, and with the darning needle, we will close with an invisible stitch. So from front to back, we're going to put our needle in the very first stitch that we made from the row. And then in the last stitch, we're going to put in the back section and bring it to the back and pull. This kind of creates an extra stitch or an extra V for a perfect finish. We can then weave in all of our ends and do the fringe. You can make the fringe as long or as short as you would like. I cut my yarn 8 inches or 20 centimeters, and then I took 4 strands, folded it in half, and attached the fringe. Just evenly space your fringe around your poncho, starting in the center point and then working on each side, and you can put as little or as much as you'd like. Thank you for watching. Please watch to the very end to see what I made with all the leftover yarn. Have a great day. See you again soon.